You ignored me last week, so we're back at
Yes.
it. We kind of have
Yes.
all these breakups and back together every week, it seems
You
like.
know, what's the saying? What is it? Distance.
Makes the heart grow fonder,
Yeah, there you go.
right? Yeah.
Separation, distance.
Sounds very
So
old
like,
fashioned, but
yeah,
that's what it
but
is.
it's still true, you know. As much as I wanted to
You don't want
be,
to be consistent, you know.
if I was consistent, I would be a completely different person.
Well, how are you, man? How's the
Good.
weekend? Did you had your son's first football game, yeah?
Yes,
How'd
first
that go?
football game. It went. It was a little rough.
Yeah.
Our team low on numbers, right? We've got like 22 kids if everybody was
Total.
healthy, and
Okay.
yeah, so not a big team.
Yeah.
And I want to say 6 kids. We had 3 subs, and our whole line, which there's only 4 or 5 kids that can play on the line.
Yeah.
And they were all gone or hurt. So we're playing against a team that is like twice the size of most of our players. Our linemen they've never played line. They don't really know what's going on. It went kind of like what you'd expect. However, the first half, it was like it was a pretty good game. And we had started to build momentum. We were down 6-13 and starting to build some momentum. Got them in a 4th down situation with just a couple minutes to go before the half. And they bombed this 40-yard touchdown that just zapped the energy from, because there was a point there where we're like, we should not be in this game. And we're in this game and we're starting to actually gain some momentum. And then as soon as that play happened, it was just, I mean, it was hot, and the kids were, they were frustrated because they just didn't really know. There was a lot of substitution, tricky things because it's like you're trying to get guys rest, but there's only 3 subs, and those 3 subs only play. They're like, didn't really even want to be in there. So it was a good overall experience for them. That first week, that first game of just learning the difference between the physicality of practice versus the game. And it was a good experience. So
yeah, for sure. We had the same.
You had football too, right?
Yeah. And it went actually opposite. It went really well, which
nice.
We were always, I think, as coaches, I probably in the same as yours, is that physical contact is very hard at that age, and so practice is like, please tackle them. Please tackle them. It is not 2-hand touch. And so, you go into that game worrying a little bit about how that is going to be. And the boys just came through and just really did really well. We won by,
nice.
It was 35-0. So.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they did really well. Like, surprisingly, we were like, okay, this could go one of 2 ways, and it went the way we wanted it to go.
No kidding.
We'll see next week. You never know at this age how it's going to go. So, and then we had 2 soccer games and all the stuff. So it's been a busy weekend, but
there's definitely that constant like hit. Like, you're going to hit them anyways. You're going to, whether you make the tackle or not, like, you're still going to have that contact. So you might as well
make
hit them good and wrap up, and don't be afraid. Like, but it's that like mental, like, once they have a few of those hits and go, oh yeah, I don't have to just like blast them. You just got to hit them hard enough and wrap up, and
for sure,
just hang on.
Yep. And then we had the Beavers won and your Ducks won barely.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do in their new league. See how that goes.
I am quite nervous. Going into the season, I was feeling really good, and now I'm like, boy, we're squeaking out wins against
it's nice with
Idaho.
A lot of expectations, man. Like, that's being a Beaver fan. We just never, we just have always been happy with our team where they're at that year. Like, when you put yourselves up in the Ducks level, it's like they don't accept anything better than the best.
It's a little. I'm not gonna lie. Both games now, I have not left the game feeling really good. I'm like, oh boy, this could be a long season.
A couple in, and we've got we're not allowed to say it, the Civil War coming up this weekend. So
yes.
So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting.
Are you going to that?
No, I have 2 soccer games and the football game, so I can't make it. So but we'll be I'll be listening. I think I do have a game at the time, but anyways. Well, let's
now.
Get back to what the people
hold on.
Before
before we jump into this, I gotta know: are you a record the game, watch it later, or are you listen to it?
Because you're always going to see something online. Someone will text, someone, even if I have the best intentions to watch it afterwards and not know anything, it's going to come up, and I just can't do it. Like, especially going to like kids football, my son's football games just after, right in between the Duck Beaver game, and I know someone will be watching and tell me, like, oh, did you see this? Did you? So I just gave up on that. Like, unless I just completely like went solitude away from everyone, I would never be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, how about you?
Okay. I am a record, and
oh, really?
Like, I just will not look at my phone.
Okay.
And there are times where it's hard because every once in a while I'll look and I'm like, not intentionally, or even sometimes, especially if the game's over and I get a notification.
Well, and you want to look up other college games, and you scroll. You can't do anything. You cannot look at your phone for any reason.
You really can't.
Like,
no. Yeah.
It's very difficult. So I definitely will not text you. Like,
yes. Yeah. I will not be responding to anything from probably about 2 o'clock until 6.
So you're done with the game. Yeah.
8 o'clock,
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah. Which is hard.
Man. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, on to what the people care about. They don't care about their personal lives. They need to know the data. They need to know what's going on in the real estate world. So rates are going down. That's a good news, right?
Rates are going down. Yeah, they are. We're seeing some continual decrease in rates, and I don't know. It's hard to really know if some of it is just anticipation for the Fed meeting next week that that they're going to drop them. That's the assumption. We won't know until it's official.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we'll see the rates either start to go up or start to go down, leading into what is going to be a decision. So it's hard to really know if we're going to see a bump after the Fed makes the announcement, or if they're kind of like pricing it into the market beforehand. But we're looking at either a 25 to 50 basis point reduction. So that would just mean not necessarily 0.5% in rate drop, but the overall cost on the back end. So if they dropped it a quarter, then that might drop the rates by, say, 0.125%, somewhere around there. But that's good because that goes, and I know we've talked about it a bunch too, and it's probably a little boring for some, but that goes across the board. That's car loans, that's credit cards, that's the prime rate. So that is a good thing overall for stuff, not just the mortgage side of it. But yeah, we're definitely seeing some improvements. We're getting out of that 7% range, and I think we're finally starting to kind of like settle into the 6s again, which is really nice. And hopefully the momentum just kind of continues to carry on over the next year or two, however long it takes for them to kind of work their way back down to maybe somewhat of a more normal range of what's affordable for people. So,
yeah, I was going to ask you, and not to put you on the spot, but like, the election coming up, I kind of did my own like diving in, and like everyone thinks like, oh, rates, take an artificial dive. And actually historically, they haven't done a crazy amount. There's been some election years that the rates have kind of gone down, and you can kind of see some sort of slow move down. But what if anything happens after the election? Is there a significant difference if it's an R or a D that gets elected, or does it kind of continue to stay on trend? Like, people may be thinking, hey, I don't know if I want to sell until after the election, or I don't know if I want to buy till after the election, or maybe I should sell before the election. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, does that fluctuate based on who the president is, like in the short term? Like, obviously long term, but in the short term, does that adjust?
The only time that I have seen it really make an adjustment, and maybe this is just because it was significant enough so it stood out to me, was in 2016 when Trump was elected. The interest rates actually started to go up because there was such a overall positive, investors, everybody was anticipating that the economy was going to get that much better. And usually when the economy is doing really well, the interest rates will kind of go up with it. In this case, it feels a little different because I don't remember there being much of a change in 2020, but we also had COVID, and we had, there was a lot going on. And rates were already low at that point anyways. So I don't remember seeing much of a change there. And I honestly don't know if there will be that much of a change either way. Just because I think the focus is going to be trying to get rates down, trying to drop inflation. So I don't know. Maybe there will be a little bit of movement, but in my own personal opinion, I'm not really anticipating too much of a change either way. But somebody that tracks that stuff might say I'm an idiot, but I don't.
Yeah, no, I asked your opinion. I don't care about those other people.
Yeah. I don't think that there will be that much of a difference. I think that I think there's become enough focus on affordability in housing, and that the interest rates are a part of that. And obviously it's needed to get inflation down. But I think overall, like, that is kind of starting to become the new focus, is how can we get rates down? How can we make housing more affordable?
Yeah.
How can we bring inflation down at the same time? And I think, I don't know what would make the most sense, because I don't really study it, but kind of a gradual easing of the rates, or because I don't really think that just a quick drop, over the course of 6 months would really necessarily be a good thing. Maybe, it would be good overall, but I don't know how much that just kind of makes a little bit more of a problem with, like, now rates are lower by 1%, and now everybody's jumping back into it, and now we're into bidding wars again, because now we have millions more people that are like, hey, I can actually afford this now. So I feel like easing it would make the most sense. I think for all of us, I think in general, I'd take the 1 point drop right away. It'd make it nicer for everybody. But I think overall, like, just steady easing would be nice, and it just kind of slowly find that level ground on what works. And so
nice. Okay,
what's new on the
crazy?
What's new on the real estate side, buying and selling? What do you see?
Short term, we've had, like, it's slower short term, just because of, you have Labor Day, schools going in and out of session, like different times that they start up. So this is generally, like, in the short term, a time that there's kind of a little pause, and so you don't see a lot of traffic as much traffic during this time. Now that everyone's officially, I think this would have been the first week for everyone, right? At the very latest.
Yeah.
Like, everyone will, like, it'll generally pick back up. So we haven't seen that yet, but we've seen houses just are sitting on the market longer. We've talked about it before. It's just like, it's not a thing to panic. It's just what it is. I'm not seeing, like, anything that indicates, like, a tanking of the market. It's just something that buyers are taking their time, and some buyers are hedging their bets, like you've seen before. In the short term, everyone thinks, like, if I wait 2 months, or if I wait 6 months, it's like, so we're seeing some of that too, that I think buyers are, like, optimistic, but, like, hey, if we wait till November, maybe the rate will even go down further, and so a combo of both. But I do see things picking back up over the next few weeks, at least in the short term, locally. So.
Okay. It's crazy, because it feels like waiting, and I don't know, I guess probably more than just real estate, but waiting, like, there's such a small window of opportunity where it feels like waiting, you actually get the benefit. And it does happen, but I feel like for the most part, you go, oh, I waited too long.
Yeah.
And even if you do wait until November,
is not the best way to go. Like,
no, because even if you do wait until November and rates come down, say 1/8%, you're still going to refinance in a year or two when they're down, in the 5s, or maybe we get back down to the 4s somewhere.
For sure.
So.
It's like, those speculations are just speculations. I get it. If you can't afford it, that's totally fine. But the people that are, like, thinking they're going to be this, like, I traded in stocks, so now I'm going to trade in I'm going to figure out the mortgage market. It's just not the same deal. So we'll see that and see what happens, and see, hopefully things pick up. And then obviously, as and come November and December is kind of when everyone hunkers down in the buying and selling process to get through the holidays, and then picks back up. So we're hoping in the next week or two, things start ramping up and activity starts picking up as rates come down and people get things settled and kids are in school and everything is kind of, like, back to a normal pattern of life. So
and I could see there possibly being some more activity, after next week. Maybe not directly after next week, but I think once it's on the news, once it's everywhere, hearing that the Fed has started to lower rates officially, because it's been a lot of speculation. Like, over the last year, there was anticipation that they were going to drop them 5 times this year, and we're in September and we're still hoping for the first one. So I think that will kind of add a little bit of energy to people when they see that and go, oh, hey.
Yeah, because
I hear rates are coming down.
Yeah, at least if you're not following it, or if you're kind of casually following it, you wait for those like national news, even though some things are baked into the cake already.
Yes, right.
People see it on the news and are like, okay, maybe this is the
time.
time. So
maybe we waited long enough, and now it's time to start looking. Yeah,
that's the hope, man.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it for me, man. I got nothing else for you.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing. I feel like it's kind of been there's nothing really too wild in the mortgage side of things, other than just the positivity of rates coming down. We're at the best point we've been all year, so that's good.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we still got venture. If anyone is not paying attention, we just interviewed Gina, who was the governor's chief of staff. We've got some other cool interviews that have happened, and we've got some cool ones coming up that will pertain to local politics and things like that. So stay tuned with venture with Joe and Cody, or get subscribed and start paying attention to that stuff. And again, if anyone wants to be on, if you're an entrepreneur, a local community member, if you're, anyone that thinks that they have something that they can share with the community, we'd be happy to have them on. Is that correct, Cody?
Absolutely. We want to hear your story.
Yeah.
I got it. So I'm going to have I'm going to have a podcast. We're going to have a great guest. It's going to be a year from now, but
you're already predicting it out a year, huh?
I'm predicting it a year. Yep. We've I'll tell you more about it offline.
Yeah, I'm already on the edge
I think we could have a really cool story.
Okay. I love this.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to interview me at some point, right? It's all about Joe one of these times.
That's coming up. That'll be in the works next week.
Yeah. Learn more about my history.
Yeah, I get people all the time that are like, I want to know Joe's story. What is his story? I don't care about
walk up to you in the streets like,
like, hey, why have we not heard Joe's story yet? What's the deal?
I love your podcast, but I know nothing about Joe.
What's the deal?
My family's been talking about it. Like it is dinner topic conversation.
Just refreshing that podcast feed, and it's not there yet. Where is it?
Soon enough, everyone. Soon enough.
Yes.
It's coming. But well, cool, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll do a couple of recordings here soon and get them out. But yeah, until next week, unless you want to ditch me next week, or you always play.
I probably will.
We'll see.
It depends on how the Civil War goes.
That's true. We may not be talking to each other depending on how that goes.
Right.
So, okay, man. Well, it's good talking to you.
Cool.
We'll have a good weekend.
You too, man. You too.
See ya.
All right. Bye.